refresh the page. Come on. There we are. Did it work? Excellent. Well, everybody. It's good to have you here. Welcome back to Paleontologizing. Welcome back to wild and wonderful and windy Wyoming, where we're digging up a dinosaur here. So glad you could be here. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. Not just talking about fossil science, but showing you live how it works. So we're doing that from the field today, as we have been doing. This is going to be my last full-length field live stream from Wyoming. We're going to do 2 short ones tomorrow for the Carnegie Museum. And I think we're probably going to make those subscriber only, just for to make things a little bit simpler. So just want to let you know right about that at the beginning of the stream. But welcome. We're here at the Purple Puzzle site again today. Pretty small crew. There's me, there's Eric right there, there's Ken and Brittany. Yeah. And we've got a horned dinosaur that we're digging up here. This time last week I would have told you this was a duckbill dinosaur because that's what we thought. It turns out it was something, no offense to duckbills, but something a bit more exciting, a ceratopsian. We've got a gorgeous skull of this animal that we've already extracted. And now we've got this enormous jacket over from last year, encased within this plaster and burlap cocoon, bones of a big old horned dinosaur. Man, the wind is not making things easy right now. Of course, it starts up like this right before I start streaming. But yeah, Ethan's going to be showing up later. He's going to be cutting into this. We're probably going to help him with that. But for right now, we're working on some overburden, because this animal continues into the hill there. So we're trying to cut away as much of this rock as we can to continue finding more bones. And you can see Eric's got that big white blob in front of him. That's another jacket with a humerus inside. The upper arm bone of a horned dinosaur. Presumably our same critter here. There we go. So yeah. Eric, how you doing today?
Pretty good.
Awesome. Any day's a good day when you've got a big upper arm bone of a horned dinosaur here.
How's chat doing today?
How is chat doing today? Yeah. How are you doing, chat? Welcome. Yeah. So, yeah. What is this? Proximal distal end?
Yeah.
Nice. So this is the elbow right here. And is that right?
Shoulder.
Shoulder right here. Elbow down there. Yeah. Nice. So, humerus, upper arm bone. You can point to your humerus?
Right here.
There you go. Yeah.
Proximal distal.
Nice. Yeah. Excellent. So this gives us hope that this critter is continuing into the hill, which is why we're working on cutting down all of this rock up here. It's a bit easier than it is at the ceratopsian site. And what's interesting is that, like, it seems to be sandwiched in between these sandstone layers. So you can see that really starkly right here. With these nice clean lines that Eric has made. We've got this big blocky hard sandstone, and then we've got softer, more friable mudstone underneath. So this dinosaur is kind of sandwiched in the mudstone, and there's more sandstone underneath it. So yeah, you can tell we're on kind of an incline here too, because this is the same layer as that. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah, hope that makes sense. Let me know if you've got any questions. Yeah, people are tired, but they're here. Gojira says, having a mid to terrible day, but this is making it so much better. Glad to hear that. That makes me happy to hear. Yeah, if we can improve your day just a little bit. How's your day going, Ken?
Great.
Yeah. Dig the glasses, by the way. Where'd you get those?
Goodwill, Wyoming. Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Yep. Yeah. And we got the tarpology hat, too, courtesy of Uncle Don at Dolling's Ball. Excellent. Yeah.
I'm glad I peer pressured him into getting him after all.
Oh,
so
were you waffling on that, Ken?
I wasn't ready to commit to the bit, but I did.
There we go. We're glad you did. Yeah. Excellent. Good stuff. My little hot dog wants to know, how long does it take to completely dig up a dinosaur of this size? At least 2 years so far, yeah.
3 years.
Yeah. This is tricky because, you know, the jacket is so huge. I'll show you. Let me walk down there. Scoot past you guys. But yeah. So you remember this enormous jacket from the last stream we did at this site? There we go. We had the other one right here with the skull in it. There might be more skull pieces in here, but this jacket had extended all the way down. I remember working on this last year. You probably watched us plaster this last year. But this thing, we thought we were gonna get a helicopter to move this thing out of here, and those plans fell through. Helicopters are not easy to come by, even in this part of the world. So we're having to cut this down. The bones are up top, so we've been, well, I say we, the crew has been incising through this, trying to cut this jacket down, and then we'll put plaster on the underside, so just the top part will be the jacket. That should hopefully be a bit easier to move. Nick Oliver is going to build a skid for us, basically a sled, to help move this thing down the hill, so we can get it down there to the vehicles on the road. So yeah, good stuff. And Chaotic Time Traveler, hello to you, and Luffy, I hope you're having a good day. So anyway, something like this does take a long time to excavate. It could speed things up if the rock is soft, or if the bones are well preserved and they're isolated from one another, then you can kind of take them out piece by piece. But when they're all jumbled up, like they are inside of here, well, then we had to build a really big jacket to be able to take them all out without cutting through any of them. So that certainly complicates things. But, you know, we're not here to do this fast, we're here to do this right. This is not a profitable operation. We're not here to make money. We're here to do science. You know, it's not a cash grab. It's not a money-making thing. This is a scientific enterprise. So we have very good reason to think this is a brand new species of horned dinosaur in here. And we're quite excited about that. So yeah. Anywho. And how heavy will that final jacket be? Asks Luce Ringstein. This is going to be probably about 3,000 pounds, maybe a little more. We'd estimated, well, Riley, who was here, he's an engineer, he'd estimated that this whole thing was about 7,000 or 8,000 pounds. So we're trying to basically cut that in half, make it just a bit more manageable. So yeah, good stuff. Yeah. And hello to you, Leanne. Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Did you catch yesterday's stream? Lauren on stream there. I was over at the Ankylosaur site yesterday. I'll be there again tomorrow. Well, some special streams at the Carnegie Museum. That's going to be fun. But yeah, and yes, you did excellently, and I'm really glad to hear that. Yeah, we're taking good care of her out here. You know, we take care of each other on this crew, or we try to anyway. So, yeah. Earlier today, I was working on removing this overburden up here. So, using picks and shovels to cut away at this. This was like a gentle slope earlier. But we've got to cut away this whole bench and then bring that all the way down to basically where Eric is. That's where the bone layer should be. So we've got a lot of work to do, just removing all of this rock, like Brittany is hard at work doing currently. So yeah, good stuff. And exactly, Crimson, I do wish that we had air support here. That'd be nice, but...
Hi, Crimson!
But there's Ken saying hello. Yeah. Oh, for those of you who don't know, you know Paleo Ken in chat, the moderator? That's him right there, in the flesh. He really does exist in corporeal form.
Sometimes do things.
Yeah. So Ken has been going to school at Columbia in New York City. He's living the dream out here. Ken is kind of in charge of this site. Now he's got his name on the permit and everything, so yeah. He's boss man today. Until Ken leaves to go to the bathroom, then Eric's in charge and he bosses us around.
He's a cruel leader, but just.
For the Ken to go to the bathroom. Yeah.
I'm touching it.
And people are saying hello to you there in the chat, Ken. Hello. Oh, what do we got, Eric? Well.
It's a fuzzy guy.
Oh, a moth.
Yeah.
Hey, moth friend. Trying to stay out of the wind. What you up to, moth friend? Dirt colored, well camouflaged in this environment.
Yeah.
Good for you. Please don't put me down. I like it here. Goodness.
Cool.
Doing her very best not to get carried away by the wind. It's fun when we have critters out here. And yeah, sometimes they don't want to leave. They just enjoy it too much. You didn't know how much of a commitment that would be, huh, Eric?
No, I did not.
Oh.
I'll have to.
Go find her a safe place and some sagebrush or something.
Yeah.
I'll get out of your way. So yeah. And hey, Murph, how's it doing? Welcome. How's it doing? I've been out here in the desert too long. How's it going, Murph? How are you doing? I hope everything is good. It's good to see you. And thank you, Claire, for everything that you do, and all the mods who are here, both in person and in the chat. Gotta drink some water before, before this bout of desert madness gets worse. There you go, Murph. I like that. Good stuff. So of course the wind starts just before I start streaming. It was lovely this morning, and now it's pretty windy. Gosh darn. That wind. Put some lip balm on as well. There we go. And it's not actually hot out here, Little Pink Pony. It's just windy and dry. The wind certainly keeps the temperature down, which is nice for us. It will get hot later in the summer, but yeah, we're out here in June and there's still snow on some of the mountains out here, which is kind of funny. But yeah. Anyway, if you've got any questions or anything, don't hesitate to ask. And how many people we got watching? 233, not too shabby. Yeah. If anyone's here for the very first time, let me reintroduce myself. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. And I'm out here in Wyoming with a crew of paleontologists and volunteers and students. We're digging up dinosaurs and other fossil critters from the late Cretaceous period, about 73 million years ago. This is kind of a blank spot on the map, these rocks that we're digging in, and so we're helping to fill in a missing piece of the puzzle. You know, during this grand story of the history of life on Earth, there are a lot of things we don't know. We're helping to hopefully plug some of those gaps, you know, earn some new knowledge. Every fossil that we excavate here tells us a little bit about the history of life on Earth. Not to get too philosophical or corny about it, but it's important work, and we're glad to do it. None of us here are getting paid. This is all volunteer work. But many of us dreamed of doing this since we were little kids, and now here we are, you know? We're doing the thing. We're in the thick of it. Not just reading about it, not just thinking about it, conducting it, performing it, doing science out in the desert. And that's a wonderful feeling, and it's lovely to be able to share that with all of you. So I'm glad you're here, and if you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask them. It's what this is all about, you know? Yeah. I appreciate that, Lenny. I hope that we're inspiring some people to do this kind of thing, or just pursue whatever it is that they're passionate about. And sometimes it takes hard work or discomfort, but it's worth it, you know? This is not the most comfortable place to work. I've been out here for 2 weeks now. Or it'll be 2 weeks on Monday? I leave Sunday morning, actually. I'm going up to Montana. So it's a little shy of 2 weeks that I've been out here. And obviously haven't had a shower. And the time since then, haven't used a flush toilet. But honestly, you don't need that stuff when you're doing field work. Sometimes discomfort is, well, it's par for the course. It happens, you know? These are the things that we put up with to be able to do what we want to do. And that's, you know? And the wind is strong. That's true, Murph. Yeah. Yeah, oh boy. Yeah, some of the crew members at this point don't smell the greatest, but we look past that. Smell past that? That's how it goes. Let's go down to the quarry. There. We'll ask Ken what our objective is for today. What are we doing today, Ken, for the sake of the audience?
Ethan at some point will be showing up, and we'll continue to undercut and plaster the jacket, making it smaller so we can be more manageable flipping.
Yeah.
Brittany is working on getting this layer down to the sandstone, and then we'll have a nice large shelf to work with.
Nice.
And Eric over here is trenching around the humerus so that way we can further cap it and then flip it and take it out from the quarry.
Nice.
Yeah. And we're going 3 meters further in the wall because that's just a general standard operating procedure.
Yeah.
You go 3 meters from wherever the last bone was found. So.
And then if you find another bone, you go 3 meters past that.
Again and again and again until there's no hill.
Exactly, yeah. So good thing we got an excavation permit here. Holy cow, we're moving a lot of rock. But this site did kind of become more important when we realized that this was a ceratopsid dinosaur. Again, no offense to hadrosaurs, but this is exciting stuff. Yeah. Can you show us some of the tools that you're working with there, Eric?
Yeah, I got a oyster knife or a shucker if you prefer that. Simple paintbrush. Dissecting spear.
Oh, I was going to call that a dental pick, but it's not.
And a dental pick.
And we got a dental pick, yeah. So, you know, extraordinarily high-tech, expensive equipment. You know, this is cutting-edge science. Each one of this paintbrush right here, this will run you about $50,000. Yeah, because you can tell it's made from bristles. And then the wood here is special. That comes from a tree.
Mahogany.
It's mahogany, right?
Yes, it is.
Every swing of a pick requires one use of a synchrotron device.
There you go, yeah. So yeah, extraordinarily sophisticated stuff we're doing out here. Now, it does actually require a good deal of practice, and I'm a little impressed, honestly, with Eric's. I think you're doing an archaeological dig here. It's just got like clean lines, nice and smooth. But it's nice that it's fracturing cleanly. Yeah.
It's good practice for archaeology.
I guess so, yeah. Yeah, that's where the real money is.
He does have a leg in both sides.
Yeah,
I do.
Have you been doing some archaeology?
Yeah, here and there.
Yeah? Nice, okay. Dig those goggles too, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, those are nice.
With my Sharpie.
Yeah, with your Sharpie. Here, I think you need, hold still. I think you need another pair of glasses up there. There we go, yeah. Now you're complete.
Oh,
there we go.
and the hearts.
Yeah. Looking good, Eric. Looking good. Good stuff. Here, give me those back.
And Brittany up there has a shovel, picks, and a McLeod. You have a lot of experience with McLeod. You can tell them what that is. Right?
Oh yeah, the McLeod.
There's one.
So it's actually used in cloud seedings in order to make it rain, and no.
There's one down.
Yeah, we do have one down there too. Yeah, let me show everybody. I actually had never seen this tool before joining the Utah Geological Survey in, what was that, 2022, I think? So you all know what a pick and a shovel looks like, but this is called a McLeod. So this is like a wilderness firefighting tool. So you can use it for kind of scraping trenches or clearing debris. You can use it for tamping things down. And so up there, Brittany is using it to, after she picks and shovels, and it's got a bunch of loose material there, she can use this for kind of scraping everything. And I'm trying to do this with one hand as I'm holding the camera. Basically like that, you can make a pile with it and you can more easily shovel it out of the way. So a McLeod. Thank you UGS, Utah Geological Survey, for but it's a pretty useful implement. Yeah. But yeah, good stuff. And Iacane says you can tell how experienced the paleontologist is by how many sunglasses they're actively wearing at any given time. There you go.
You're the boss now.
Good stuff.
Oh, he's coming down this road.
Yay.
All right. So yeah, anyway, if you've got any other questions, don't hesitate. And Crimson says you better hurry up with those trenches. The Germans are marching your way. We're gonna give them what for. Here, there is a vehicle approaching, and we try and be inconspicuous out here. We don't want to attract the attention of fossil poachers or other no-goodniks. So anytime there's a vehicle down on the road below, we generally try and stay still. They can't see us if we don't move, you know?
Okay, they're fast.
Yeah, okay. Antnem says, how's the night sky out there? Big, full of stars, maybe more full of satellites. It's kind of crazy how many satellites there are nowadays, but it's pretty incredible. You know, we're not near a whole lot of light pollution. We're kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so yeah, the sky here can be pretty brilliant. And honestly, sometimes I feel like we don't appreciate it enough, because we're sitting around the campfire, joking around and stuff like that. Tonight we're probably going to do karaoke. I've got my solar battery charging back in camp right now, so tonight's going to be a karaoke night. I'm looking forward to that. So anywho, nights tend to be a bit more boisterous than you might be used to while you're camping. We've got, how many people do you think we have in camp right now? Is it like 35?
It had been up to that. I think we're probably closer to 20 now.
20?
Yeah.
It's got to be more than that.
Some of them are leaving. I guess Robin's not leaving until tomorrow. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say we've got probably 20 or 30 people in camp right now. Yeah, and it'll be, I want to say Ethan said we might have as many as 50 at one point. So one of the biggest crews working on digging dinosaurs anywhere in the world at the moment, maybe the biggest. It's a big operation, and it's all privately funded. Our Twitch community here on Paleontologizing contributed a significant sum to our budget this year, which we are very grateful for. And as you can tell, I don't know, we tend to be pretty frugal with supplies and equipment and everything else. We stretch those pennies, and we end up with amazing things. I wish I could have shown you that ceratopsid skull the other day, but it's kind of, like I said, when was it, on Sunday? It's kind of too important to show on camera yet. We got to get that thing published, but it's going to be a big deal, so we're excited about that. Other crews have been looking for stuff like this for decades, and now we have it. So we're pretty excited. And there you go, Iacane. Yeah. Light pollution is an issue, and it does definitely reduce people's quality of life, I've been told, and I believe. light pollution is also bad for, well, for birds. I'm sure for invertebrates. It's bad for sea turtle hatchlings and adult sea turtles too. Light pollution's a problem. And it is really nice to be able to go out to a place where you don't have it, you know? Where the night sky is just dark. But then through that darkness you can see thousands of stars. That's pretty special, you know? It's a nice thing to have. Anywho. Yeah, good stuff. And the Iacane, yeah. On the oncoming RS headlights, especially when they don't turn their high beams off. That's an issue. But yeah. And Freelancer says, bit late, but just finished watching the first season of Dino Hunters. Is that Discovery Channel show? It's Discovery or History Channel? I don't know. A lot of that stuff is not quite legit. I've seen some clips. I'm like, what in the world are they doing? I don't know. I tried to watch an episode of that one time and I just got really frustrated because I don't know. That's not... A lot of that is like commercial crews. They don't really know what they're doing. They're taking huge risks because they're not doing it for science. They're doing it to sell the fossils. They're breaking stuff left and right. You know, just bad practice all around. That's the impression I got from what little I have seen. Contrast that with what we're doing here. We're a much leaner operation. We're doing this for science and not for profit. It tends to be a bit more slow going, but you know, we don't break the fossils. So yeah. Whoop. And Claire says, it doesn't get too hot here to stay until school starts, right? No, Claire, we're wrapping up stuff here at the end of June. So I'm leaving on Sunday morning, but this crew is going to be working here basically until the beginning of July. Yeah, Ken, what's the official end date for the season this year?
I'm the wrong person to ask. I believe it's somewhere between the 30th and the 1st. So.
Nice, yeah. So basically working through June, and then many of us have other field work to do in other parts of the country after that. So, like I said, I'm going up to Montana on Sunday. It doesn't really get wickedly hot in this part of the state during the summer, right? We're at high enough elevation that it's not going to get like 110 or anything?
Nah, it'll be in the 90s at least, but
yeah,
maybe sometimes hundreds, but not anything like eastern Utah.
Right, yeah. So when we're up at Doling's Bowl, we got really lucky last summer where it didn't get that hot, but this year we might not be so lucky. Could see 110, 120 easy. We shall see. Yeah. And Iacane Powder in the chat says, somewhere between the 30th and the 1st is such a great passive-aggressive answer. Ken was not being passive-aggressive.
Oh, no,
he's being earnest. Yeah.
I have no comprehension of time anymore. I've been out here since the 18th or the 20th, so...
Yep. Ken is just a machine at this point. He eats fruit snacks and he moves rock, you know?
Send sardines! Don't actually.
We talked about that yesterday on stream. And Katie Gardner was mentioning that she'd eaten several bugs in the quarry because she'd found so low on protein at one point. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Good stuff. And Claire says, feed the crew. No, we're well fed out here. We are. Yeah.
I didn't mean to start this. I'm sorry, Dan.
No, you're all good. You're all good. Last night, the vegetarians, which at this point is just me and Fisher, we had veggie burgers for dinner. with some pretty decent macaroni and cheese, decent for field food, and then all of the non-vegetarians, they mixed in a ton of ground beef with that macaroni, some taco seasoning and stuff, and they had taco pasta, and that was a hit. People like that. So yeah. I don't know what's for dinner tonight, but I don't have to worry about that. Setting up the karaoke, that's my contribution. Evening's festivities. And like I said, that solar battery is charging back in camp right now. Hopefully on the satellite internet, and the karaoke machine, and the laptop, and the projector, which I brought all those from home. We don't have a projector screen, but we can set up a white folding table against some rocks, and then project YouTube karaoke onto that. I'll see if Denver and Liz want to have that in their camp next week, or the week after. It's always interesting. You join a different crew, and people have got different ways of doing things. Here, everybody's all about the karaoke. I'll see if the other crew wants that as well. You know, just going around to different crews. I'm not going to tell people what to do or how to do it. I'm just here to say yes and contribute however I can and do these live streams. Just be part of the team, you know? Yeah. Oh, and did Nerdowino just bring everybody in? Thank you, Nerdowino. Welcome to Paleontologizing. You're streaming early today, aren't you? Fantastic. Welcome to Wyoming. This might be a bit of a departure from what you were doing. Nerdowino streaming from there in SoCal. I'm here in Western Wyoming, digging up dinosaurs and trying to survive the wind, which just started just before we started streaming. The wind got crazy, and it has continued to be crazy. But that's how Wyoming goes, you know? Here in the middle of the country. Nerdowino, I hope you had an excellent stream. I really appreciate you bringing everybody over. Yeah. Macroneer and shit. There you go, Crimson. And Astro Canuck, how are you doing? Welcome. Hope you've been having a good day so far. Ethan just texted. Alright, Ethan was supposed to show up today to help us with this, and looks like he's got to go do a grocery run. So, yeah. And Iacane says, wind in Wyoming? I know, right? What, is water wet? Does the Pope poop in the woods? Yes. And blows the stone dust away a bit. Right into our eyes, Digital Deck. It loves doing that. And Nerdowino says, great to be here. 70-mile charity bike ride done. Lurking. Oh, that's awesome. Nerdowino. 70 miles on a bicycle? That's not 35 miles per wheel, right? That's 70 with both wheels? That's impressive. Shoot. Yeah. You rest up, Nerdowino. Get hydrated. You're gonna sleep well tonight, I bet. That's awesome. I hope you had a great time. Hope you raised a bunch of money for charity. That's really cool. Yeah. And Chudley says, are there any soccer fans at the site? Oh yeah. I love soccer. I just hate watching it. It's the most boring thing in the world, along with all professional sports. Sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. I love playing soccer. I hate watching it. I think we all kind of forgot the World Cup was happening. I thought it was canceled. Apparently it's not. I heard they're having a lot of trouble with it. Yeah. No, that's fair, says Chudley. Okay, sorry, I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon. I'm sorry. Sometimes out in the field, there's not much of a filter, you know? The outdoors will do that to you. Yeah. And Claire is correct. Danny wants to chase the ball, not watch the ball. Fair, I do. Yeah. We don't really have a way to watch any kind of digital material out here, because we don't have internet. We're way out in the middle of nowhere. We don't have electricity either. I'm broadcasting to you live via satellite. There's our dish down there with the solar battery and the solar panel. Actually, I need to check on that panel and make sure it hasn't gotten blown over. So I don't want to totally drain the battery. But yeah. And panel did kind of get blown over, but it's kind of fine. I don't know. Let me look.
Are we having technical difficulties?
No, not really. I'm just being kind of prissy about the solar panel.
Okay.
Just wanted to be perfect. Just way too much to ask.
Sorry, my talent file isn't helping.
No, you're all good. Work's got to get done. 0 watts. Are we disconnected? No. Why is it at 0 watts? It's kind of all or nothing with this panel. I don't get it. It's either really happy or really non-happy. Here, I'll put it like that. Stick this rock over it. Zero watts. What's going on? What don't you like about this solar panel? Disconnect and reconnect. That's fine, it'll be okay. I'm complaining, but I'm really lucky to have this thing. This is what makes streaming out here possible. Solar power and satellite internet. Yeah. And do we have football there in camp? We don't, Golganek, because, well, we don't really have a place to play soccer in camp.
There'd be a lot of twisted ankles.
Oh yeah, uneven ground. There's no big flat spot. Guess we could try to do that on the road, but I don't think anybody brought a soccer ball, and, you know, we've got work to do.
Even the road's pretty...
Yeah, the road, yeah. I don't know if there's like a flat spot like that anywhere in this whole county. Except maybe in town, in one of the towns. And Baffle says, how far from Flaming Gorge? Far enough. We can't really disclose exactly where we are because we don't want to make ourselves vulnerable to poaching and stuff like that. And we've got an agreement with the Bureau of Land Management, with whom we are permitted, not to like announce where we're digging. So apologies if I have to be a little bit vague about where we are, but we're in that part of the world at least, you know. But welcome, Baffles. It's good to have you here. Yeah. And Addicted to Capping says, Danny, has there ever been an instance where you found an herbivore that shouldn't be there or the same as a carnivore? I mean, what we thought was one herbivore turned out to be another one. Is that what you mean? I'm not sure I understand your question. Do you mind rephrasing it? I don't quite get it. Yeah. And there you go, Crimson now. I don't think we're gonna have gladiatorial battles with fossil poachers, but sometimes we feel like we should, you know, but it's best just not to encounter them in the first place, which is why we're trying to be a little bit circumspect about where exactly we are in the world. So I hope that makes sense. Get some more water. Jin says, what's the biggest fossil you found on this dig so far? It would have to be the skull from our ceratopsid. So it was right down Kenneth, where the skull came out. This is our biggest critter so far. There are duckbill dinosaurs that are pretty big too, but so far, I'd say this is our largest specimen. And that's, Ken, do you think that's bigger than the Skull Ridge jacket?
That is definitely bigger than the Skull Ridge jacket.
Nice, okay, yeah.
The Skull Ridge jacket will fit in a pickup bed. This will not, the way
Right, okay, yeah. Yeah, so this is definitely our biggest dinosaur so far, at least in terms of how big the jacket has to be. Some of the duckbills might have been larger in life, but right now, yeah. The largest, field jacket we've had to make is for this critter. So we're talking about an animal that would be at least 20, probably 25 feet long in life. Not a small animal. It's kind of funny because, by dinosaur standards, it's not enormous. You've got sauropod dinosaurs, the long-necked plant eaters. They could be well over 100 feet long. 70, 80 tons, maybe. A critter like this is small compared to that, but it'd be, roughly elephant-sized, something like that, maybe. About the size of an average elephant. But yeah. Is Balint there in the chat? Let's see. But yeah, yes he is. Science Streams, how are you doing? Welcome. Wonderful to have you here. I'm glad we could raid in yesterday. I hope you had an excellent stream doing some mining. We're doing some excavation of a different sort out here in Wyoming. Full stream from Wyoming. Let me explain what we're doing tomorrow, by the way. Yeah. Oh, hang on. Let me answer some of these questions first before we explain what's going on tomorrow, because it's going to be a little unusual. Jacket has a very funny mirror space. Yeah. Yeah. And Addicted to Camping says, I'm asking if you ever found a critter on a dig that wasn't in the list of the fauna for that time or area. That's all of these. Literally all of them. There are... None of these critters have been named yet, I should say. We know that there's ceratopsians, hadrosaurs, tyrannosaurs, etc. We expect them to be here. Here's a little diagram showing that. So Laramidia, this is this ancient continent that's Western North America. So, yeah. Well, here, I'll show you North America today. Here's the Rocky Mountain region that stretches from Canada down south. I guess you can kind of continue this down through Mexico. Sorry about the wind. But here are a bunch of different important fossil regions, all numbered right there. And see how they kind of go in a line? So during the late Cretaceous period, there was an ocean that covered the interior of North America. We call it the Western Interior Seaway. And I have an illustration of that right here. Lovely. Yeah. So, Western Interior Seaway right in the middle. To the west, you have Laramidia. To the east, Appalachia. And then that red rectangle right there over the word Seaway, that is Wyoming. So the western part of Wyoming would have been coastline at this time. Exactly where we are right now. So we're kind of on the coast 70 million years ago. Laramidia is an ancient subcontinent here. And these are some of the critters that have been found up and down it from various times. So you'll notice there's tyrannosaurs. Here. Tyrannosaurs. There's little raptor dinosaurs, dromaeosaurs and troodontids. You've got beaky plant eaters like the leptoceratopsids. You've got runners like Orodromeus. You've got hadrosaurs like Gripposaurus, Parasaurolophus, Maiasaura, Corythosaurus. At each one of these different spots, we generally have a couple of duckbills, maybe a couple of tyrannosaur species, a couple of ankylosaurs. It's like we'll get each of these different critters, different species from these groups at each of those locations. Here where we are in Wyoming, we know that there are tyrannosaurs, ankylosaurs, ceratopsians, all the usual cast of characters, but we don't know their names. They haven't been named yet. They're new. We know they should be here, and we find them, but they're new to science, and that's very exciting. Well, we're making new discoveries left and right. So every critter that we find here, that's a dinosaur at least, is almost certainly new. And that includes the thing we're digging up here. That's why we work so hard at this. That's why it's important. That's why it's worthwhile. That's why people in this chat have contributed several $1,000s to our work out here, because they realize it's important too. You know, this is cool stuff. Yeah. And oh, we got a raid from Kuma Monster. Holy cow! Sorry. Welcome to Paleontologizing. Holy moly. Here, let me put these aside for a moment. Let me go walk you around. Welcome to a live dinosaur dig, Kuma Monster and Raiders. I hope you had an excellent stream. We are out here in wild and woolly Wyoming, and the wind is, I was gonna say the wind has died down. That's its cue to come back with a vengeance. Anywho, we're digging up a dinosaur here, a horned dinosaur. This has been a really surprising sight because we've been working this for a couple years now. We thought this was a duckbill, a hadrosaur. We were excited about that. But then we turned one of our field jackets over and started trimming it down to be able to get it lightweight enough to carry down the hill. In that process, it turned into a horned dinosaur. What we thought was a duckbill, we were wrong about that. Big old horn, big old frill, big old face of a ceratopsid, kind of like Triceratops. That jacket is already safely in storage. This one, we're gonna have to cut down, trim it to the point where we can move it by hand, because right now it is way too heavy. We built this so that it could be lifted by a helicopter, but nobody showed up with a helicopter. We're gonna have to move this by hand. It's gonna be a tremendous amount of work. But anyway, yeah. Hey, welcome, Kuma Monster and Raiders. Let me know if you've got any questions. But let me just give you a sense of scale with this jacket here. This is really big. And it scares me a little bit, actually, how big it is. Look at that. There you go, yeah. Yeah, holy cow. So you can see we've been cutting away at this. This is going to be the jacket that we bring down. All of this, we're going to cut this away. So we only have this part to move, the top. You can see it's reinforced with 2x4s here to keep the jacket from flexing as we move it. We were working on this live on stream last June, and now, hopefully in a few days, Nick Oliver seemed quite confident he could get this out in 72 hours.
No.
We'll see if that happens.
No, that's... Oh, wait. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, he said he was going to build a sled for it and then send it down the hill there. Let gravity be our ally. In order to get it down to the road and be able to drive it away. So, yeah, we'll need like a flatbed trailer for this. So, anywho, yeah. And is that a head? So there might be part of the skull in here, but we think this is mostly postcrania, so parts of the rest of the body, vertebrae, ribs, limb bones. The thing is, it's all covered with concretion, so there's this hard concreting rock over the surface of the bone that makes them really difficult to identify, which is why we thought this was a duckbill for the longest time. Duckbills are more common in this area, so it was a safe bet, but turned out to be wrong. It's a horned dinosaur, which is honestly more exciting. We're stoked about it. So yeah. And yeah, we took the skull jacket down the hill already, Claire. That is safe in storage right now. And Starmy, this is absolutely a priority already. Like, this is going to get prepped out ASAP. And yeah, Ethan might even be prepping it back in Salt Lake over the winter. We'll have to ask him if and when he shows up. Ken, did you get his text, by the way?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so we might not see Ethan today.
For a while.
Yeah. Anyhow. But yeah, it is very much a priority. And Ms. Blue Sky says, did the skull have the frill and everything? It was missing part of the snout, but it had the frill, had a brow horn, no nose horn. That part's missing. Or at least we think it's missing. It may have been folded underneath, and maybe we'll find it in the lab in that same jacket. Maybe it's in this jacket, or maybe it went down the hill long ago. We don't know. We'll find out. Yeah. The vagaries of fieldwork, you know. When we're working at a site like this is the least information we'll ever have about this thing. We'll learn more and more and more as we get that jacket back to the lab and open it up, clean it, all that good stuff. So yeah. And Victoria says, how often are specimens misidentified at first? Quite often, really.
All the time.
Yeah, field IDs can be very preliminary, very hazy.
Not Jurassic Park where you brush the dirt off of the velociraptor. So
Exactly, yeah. I kind of wish we had an exposed bone to show you here, but we don't like to leave them exposed for long because we don't want them to get damaged. That's what we're trying to avoid. But the bone here doesn't really look like... with all the concretion over the surface, it's like... It's really scruddy, you know? Got to be able to clean off all that scrud in the laboratory. But yeah. And Rusty Viking says, what's a jacket? This is a field jacket. So, here, I'll show you over here with what Eric is doing. So, Eric's got an upper arm bone, a humerus, from our horned dinosaur here. So you can see these lumps right here. That's the distal end of the humerus, and this is the proximal end. So this is the shoulder joint. There's the elbow joint there. So you can kind of see the silhouette going around like that. And this is a jacket that we put over the surface. So we take burlap, you know, only the finest materials out here. Burlap straight from Milan. And then we have from Paris, the plaster of Paris, that we soak and then we stick it over the surface like this, and it dries hard, protective cocoon around the bone. What Eric is doing here is he's trenching around this. So the jacket goes over the top. He trenches around to make kind of a mushroom shape. And then we'll put more burlap and plaster around the sides. And finally flip it over, carve away some of that rock, and then jacket the bottom of it. So it'll be fully enclosed in a protective cocoon of plaster-soaked burlap that we call a field jacket. It's kind of like an old-fashioned cast for a broken arm or a leg. But yeah, instead we've got a hopefully not broken dinosaur limb bone in here. Does that make sense? It's a field jacket. This is standard practice. So paleontologists have been doing this since the 1800s. It was the crews of Othniel Charles Marsh who first figured out how to do this back in the 1870s, I think, after the U.S. Civil War. Yeah, and I think some of them might have actually been Civil War medics, and they took that medical training, learning how to set broken arms and legs and make casts for them. They figured out, hey, we could do this for fossil bones to safely get them out of the ground and back to the laboratory. And we've been doing it the same way pretty much ever since. Not a whole lot has changed because it's hard to improve something that's that simple and effective and inexpensive. We don't have big budgets out here, so you know, everything has to be affordable. It has to be mobile. We have to be able to pack it and, you know, hike it up a hill. So you'll notice we don't have a whole lot of advanced, you know, finicky, high performance technology at a site like this. You know, the most high tech stuff that we've got is the phones in our pockets, and then for me, the satellite dish and the solar battery up there. And then my streaming encoder right here that I'm using to broadcast to you from. Using to broadcast to you. But yeah. Anyhow, yeah. If it ain't broke, exactly, Starwolf. Yeah. And can you give us a size estimate of the ceratopsine? It's big. We're talking like maybe Triceratops sized. And this might even be the direct ancestor of Triceratops. I don't know. You know, we don't know yet. But there's a chance. This is from, well, it's from Wyoming. And we get Triceratops in Wyoming and in Montana and the Dakotas, Colorado. It's from just before Triceratops in time. It looks a heck of a lot like Triceratops from what I've seen. We could have the direct ancestor of Triceratops here. That would be really exciting, in my opinion. Yeah. And I really appreciate it, Addicted to Capping. Thank you. We have been very lucky that we have some generous donors here who have provided food and equipment to us, because this is a labor of love. And you know, while we try to make this as inexpensive as possible, it does add up. This sort of work does take funding. We need money for this kind of thing, and we've been lucky so far to get it. It's what allows us to do stuff like this, you know? And it's not just the funding, it's the volunteers too. We've got people from across the country who came here to join us, and we're very grateful for that. This is not easy field work. I want to emphasize that. Like, there are a lot of other field crews that you could join. There are other sites that you could go to. It kind of takes a special breed of person to be able to thrive out here, and not everybody can cut it. You know, not everybody can do this sort of thing. But we here at this site, well, shoot. And Ken, were you here 2022 or 2023 first year?
20th was in 22.
Nice, yeah. At Doling's Bowl?
No, we're at Excavating Dig.
Oh, okay, nice, yeah. Eric has been with us since last year. And then Brittany is new this year, and we really hope she comes back next year too.
Yes, you know it.
She has been kicking butt out here, as you can tell. So, yeah. Actually, can I introduce you to the chat real quick, Brittany?
Absolutely, sir.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, so, Brittany, where are you from?
I am from San Diego.
Nice, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Very well equipped for a workout here. We're kind of admiring your almost like plague doctor kind of get up there with the.
Yes.
But there's so much dust. You kind of need that sort of thing.
100%.
Especially when you're shoveling like into the wind. Holy cow.
It keeps things interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So what are you interested in paleo, and how'd you find out about us?
I just graduated from San Diego State University.
Congrats.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And one of my good friends, Nick Oliver, had introduced me to Ethan and recommended that I actually come and join Paleo
Nice.
Dig. So this is my first season out here. Super excited. My first real field work. I did do some a little bit of work at Ghost Ranch with Dr. Randall Ermis.
Yeah.
So I got a little bit under my belt, but nothing to this extent.
But I mean, if you can do this, you can kind of do anything.
100%.
Like, short of maybe like Antarctic field work.
Oh gosh, that
This
would
is.
be fun.
I know. I really want to do that too. But yeah, this is some pretty hardcore stuff, honestly.
Oh, it's a good time
So,
though. It's a good
yeah.
time.
So-
Builds character too.
Exactly, yeah. And we're very lucky to have Brittany, so.
Thank you,
yeah.
sir.
Anyway, thanks for being here.
Of course.
Yeah. So I think that kind of illustrates it's who you know in this field that makes a difference. And, you know, if you want to start doing this kind of field work, just try and start doing it, and you'll see that get that ball rolling. You'll meet new people, you'll gain experience, you'll learn skills, and
You like gummy clusters?
yeah, it's good stuff. And let's see, we have a question about paleobotany. Addicted to having any paleobotanists. So yeah, we had some paleobotanists with us last week. There was Whitney Greaves and her crew. Yeah, and they've since left. They've gone back to Connecticut, but they're working on the fossil plants in this area, and it's important stuff. I hear that famed paleobotanist Kirk Johnson, who's the director of the Smithsonian Museum, the National Museum of Natural History. He's going to be out here toward the end of the month. And I'm a little sad that I got to miss him because I'm not going to be here. I'm going up to Montana on Sunday. But Kirk is a really cool guy. He's a paleobotanist. And by the way, I got a text from Whitney this morning when we were showing off those fossil plants on stream last week. Here we go. Whitney says, I got some decent photos taken and sent to Steve Manchester of that like weird mysterious plant that I showed on stream, who specializes in fossil plant reproductive organs. We were right, it was Paleoaster, which is what the commenter on the stream thought too. Hope all is well out there. I got a reply to Whitney, and actually I can download that picture now. Excellent. Yeah, check that out. Paleoaster. Really cool. So it's not just dinosaurs that we're doing out here, it's every part of this ecosystem that we can get our hands on. The dinosaurs, the fossil fishes, the turtles, the lizards, the crocs, the invertebrates, you know, various clams and other mollusks like that, snails and things, and of course the plants. What some people would argue are the most important components of any ecosystem, the things that form the basis of the food chain in many cases. Plants are extremely important to understand, and we're lucky to have some really good plant people working with us. So, good stuff. That being said, oh man, I gotta download all of these. Oh goodness, data texts while I have internet. It's gonna be all jumbled up, goodness. I really hate group texts when I'm out in the field because, or when I'm out and about, because I never have data on my phone. It's such a waste. Eats up the battery, eats up the data. Goodness, I can do this later. But yeah. Good stuff. Got dirt in there. And thinking of doing a stream. Oh, very cool, Starmy. That's awesome. That's so cool. Historic sites all over Europe, so I thought, let's see if I can stream from there. Part of a Belgian trench during World War I. That is super cool, Starmy. Baby's first stream, but thanks again for being an endless pile of inspiration. Starmy, that's wonderful. I'm proud of you. That's really cool. And, you know, maybe streaming is really awesome and you love it, or maybe it's just kind of a pain in the butt and you don't enjoy it, but do whatever makes your heart sing, you know? Whatever works. If you're passionate about outreach, you'll find a way to do it, and you'll help inspire other people. That's really cool, Starmy. I hope it goes well. But yeah, if you don't enjoy it, though, switch to some other medium. Find whatever makes you happy, and pursue that, you know? Good stuff. And Prince Nanerda says, did most sea creatures live in inland seas and coastal regions as opposed to open ocean? That's a good question. Maybe, I'm not a marine biologist. As I understand it, much is kind of almost like a desert. It's not very high in biodiversity, just out in the middle of the deep ocean, like at the surface or elsewhere. There's not as many critters. They tend to be closer to the coastlines, or you have runoff from rivers and stuff like that going out to the ocean that brings nutrients. You might have upwelling along coastlines, like in California's Monterey Bay. That is a source of food for an incredible assortment of different marine animals. I think in paleontology and fossil science, our window into what ancient ocean environments were like is very heavily biased toward coastlines and inland seas. Because that's the only thing we have fossils of generally. Stuff from way out in the middle of the ocean, on oceanic crust, we don't have any way to dig up those fossils or discover them in the first place, for the most part. Unless we're talking about microfossils that you can pull up with drilling rigs. Might get a core sample. The core might be this big around and, 1/8 of a mile long. And you can get all kinds of microscopic critters in there, forams, diatoms, whatever. But good luck finding fossil whales, or earlier on in the Mesozoic, fossil marine reptiles and stuff like that. Not going to happen. What's more, oceanic crust recycles, so none of it on the Earth is all that old. It tends to get pushed underneath the continental crust, and then it goes into the Earth's mantle, and it melts. So the oceanic crust is being recycled all the time. There's none of it on our planet that's older than, say, 200 million years old, as I understand it. So the ocean crust is a lot younger on average than, the continental crust. Does that make sense? So most of what we know about ancient oceans comes from coastlines and from inland seas where, like with the Western Interior Seaway, you get ocean bottom sediments in Kansas and Nebraska and Wyoming. This is when the seaways flooded North America, the interior, and you get fossils from there. Deep ocean, middle of the ocean stuff. So, whoop. Glad I caught that. Gotta get rid of these foam inserts. They're a pain in the butt. There we go. Nope. Oh no. Come here. Ugh. Everything's getting caught on everything. Western Interior Seaway. This is North America, 70 million years ago, give or take. That's Wyoming. Much of it was underwater at this time. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. And E. Dragonflies is 200 million years old, just a baby? I mean, you joke. Things, yes. Here, looking at our time scale here. Our time. Earth formed about 4.5 billion years ago. 200 million years ago is only right there. It's near the present, much nearer the present than it is the beginning of time, on the beginning of the Earth at least. 200 million years ago is like beginning of the Jurassic period. That's the oldest oceanic crust in the world, is like that. Most of it is much, much younger. Does that make sense? Oh boy, gotta wait for the wind to die down before I try and put this away. But here, the critter we're digging up here in this quarry would have been pretty similar to this. This is Pentaceratops right here. Really neat animal, much like Triceratops, but older. And yeah, the skull that we have basically looks like that, where it's missing the lower jaw so far and the nose, but we seem to have the rest of it, which is really exciting. This is honestly better than we could hope for, better than we could dream of. If in 6 years of fieldwork we only found that, we'd be very happy. It would make all of this worth it. But we have that and so many other sites too. This is pretty killer what we're doing out here. And there's a life reconstruction of more or less what this animal would look like. I think that's Anchiceratops there, but pretty similar critter to what we've got here. But we think ours is a new species. The time seems to indicate it would be a new species, because we don't have any other ceratopsids from this time and place, so every reason to think it's new. Yeah. Good stuff. And here, let me get some, man, this wind. I'm gonna get some water so I don't dehydrate. Put some lip balm on as well. There we go. Ugh. Oof. Goodness. I'm trying to take my hat. And now the water's spilling. Hold that down. There we go. There we go. A little bit of lip balm. You really have to protect your lips out here. It's so dry and windy that you're not careful, they can crack and blister and bleed. So, talking about protecting one's lips out here. Yeah.
Make sure there's SPF.
Yeah, definitely.
No Carmax.
Anyhow, let me catch up to chat. Let's see. Oh, and ceratopsian headgear, yeah. So the frill and the horns, they may have been partly for defense, but they seem to have evolved originally for display. We think these probably would have been quite social animals, and we see that their headgear evolves really quickly over time. You know, it doesn't stay the same. Every kind of ceratopsid dinosaur has got different headgear, different horns, different frills, like different shapes to them. And it also changes as the animal grows too, so it's complex. These would have been very visual animals, we think. Probably fairly brightly colored, kind of flashy. So they would have used them to signal to each other, like it might have something to do with mate selection, it might have something to do with territory, it might have something to do with just recognizing different individuals, because there seems to have been a lot of room for individual variation in the headgear too. So, yeah, mostly to show off, we think those horns and frills were for, if that makes sense. Then Ms. Blue Sky says, if for whatever reason the skeleton doesn't give enough information to be sure, would the default assumption be a new species or expanding the range of an existing one? I mean, it depends whether it's different or the same. I mean, you can find scraps of a dinosaur in a certain area, and it's from a time that, say, it doesn't match any other dinosaur in time or place. And so you'd say, well, this is new, but we can't name it. We can't describe it because the material isn't good enough. That happens all the time. Holy cow. And that's actually what happened here before. There's been a horned dinosaur from this spot in Wyoming. It's in the American Museum of Natural History in New York since the 1930s. But it's not complete enough to be able to name. I guess if you wanted to, at least it wouldn't be good practice to name it, you know? Because there's not enough, it doesn't have the big diagnostic bones, it doesn't have the frill bones that are kind of the secret ingredient, they're the most distinctive part of the animal. That's what you need in order to really be able to name it. It's missing that part. We have those parts now and we're very excited. So anywho, if you look up any geological formation on Wikipedia and you look at the faunal list, so like say, let me think of an example. Frontier formation. If you look up the Wikipedia article for the frontier formation in the Cretaceous, unnamed ceratopsian, unnamed goniophyllid crocodilian form, blah blah blah. We know that those critters are there, but there's not enough material where we can tell what species it is, or if it's new, to be able to name it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Let's see. Somebody was asking if what we're going to do with this fossil afterward. Well, this is going to be going to the Cincinnati Museum Center. We're not selling it to them. You know, we're not a commercial group. We're doing this for science. You can't sell vertebrate fossils that you find on private land. Excuse me, public land. Opposite. So everything that we're doing here is for science. We're not getting paid to do this. We're not making a profit. We're doing this to drive the science forward. This is a public good that we're performing here. So this is going to end up at the Cincinnati Museum Center in Cincinnati, Ohio, and that will be its forever home. That's what we call our repository. So in order to get permits to be able to dig on public land here, we need to be able to prove that these fossils are going to an accredited museum, what we call a repository. So the repository on our permits that make it legal to collect this, our repository is the Cincy Museum, Cincinnati Museum Center in Ohio. So yeah, hope that makes sense. And oh, thank you, Claire, from Dinosaur Dave. A Chinese ankylosaurid from the Barrengoyet Formation. They did 1977. Oh boy, my Asian ankylosaurids are a bit rusty. 1977. Is it Sitchania, maybe? Sitchania or Talarurus. Could be Shamosaurus. Or Pinacosaurus, I suppose. Nailed it? Oh, which one was it, Claire? Yeah. Sitchania, yeah, whose name means beautiful, if I remember correctly. I don't know if it's Mongolian or... I don't think it's Russian. I think the name Sitchania means beautiful in Mongolian. I once did a Lego Sitchania back when I was in like middle school. It was a lot of fun. Made it out of Lego Technic pieces. Yeah, that's goofy. That's a childhood memory right there. I was at like a summer day camp, and bionicles were the big thing at the time, and so like all the other kids, you know, they had their different bionicles and they would fight with them, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know if I like that, but let me make a dinosaur out of those same pieces. I made a Sitchania, and that tail club on that, like won every battle I got into with it. Yeah. Mongolian for beautiful one. Thank you, Charlie's Dragon. Yeah. And Groovy NY, how are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. Does the NY in your name stand for New York? We're a long way from New York here, out in western Wyoming. But Ken here is a New Yorker nowadays, even though he's from Wyoming originally.
You're gonna get people coming after me for saying I'm a New Yorker already. They take that serious.
I guess so, yeah. Ken's going to school at Columbia. But yeah, we're digging here in western Wyoming. We've got a new, what we think is a brand new species of ceratopsid dinosaur that we're very excited about. And so I'm working on clearing some of that overburden. Underneath Eric's knees right there, we've got a limb bone from this ceratopsid in this plaster and burlap jacket right there. And yeah.
You're hardly working?
Anyhow, small crew today at this site. You could say we're an elite bunch.
Perfect size crew.
Oh yeah.
You could say we're a skeleton crew.
Oh. But don't. How's it going, Eric?
Good.
Yeah.
How's the stream going?
I'd say it's going pretty well. We've got 421 people watching.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, good stuff. Let me know if you've got any other questions, chat. But it's, I don't know. It's really cool to dig up a dinosaur, first of all. But to be able to dig up a dinosaur where you're like 90% sure it's a new species,
Oh, nice.
honestly, that's even cooler. Yeah. How many new species is this now for you, Eric, that you've worked on? You've got this, which is new. You've worked other sites. We've got at least probably 3 new species of dinosaur there, with the ankylosaur and the theropod and the hadrosaur.
Maybe.
Can you get under there and
Maybe 5.
Yeah.
on that end of the field?
Shoot. Yeah. I mean, we're incredibly spoiled out here, where it's like everything we're digging up is new. This is unheard of, you know. Like it's a new frontier out here in Wyoming. This is pretty killer. We're grateful. Yeah.
Definitely.
An illyspid, I can go get that, especially now that the wind has died down. I was showing that earlier, but I can show you again. The Western Interior Seaway map, where Wyoming is on there. Give me a second, let me go up there and get it. And fertile ground for new dinosaurs? Absolutely, Rushwing, yeah. Yeah, that's all that. Check out this nice little staircase here. Carved for our talk a little bit about what we're doing tomorrow, which should be different. Quite different, really. Of course the wind picks up as soon as I get here. Okay. There's Wyoming right there. The western part is kind of coastal at this time, so that's where we are. Right on the shores of this ancient Western Interior Seaway. Good stuff. Does that make sense? I'll show you again. This is North America. We have Laramidia to the west, Appalachia to the east, the Seaway in between. In the red silhouetted there is Wyoming. We're right on the coast. Yeah. Anyhow, I think it says that says something in the title. I put that in there. But this is our last full-length live stream from Wyoming this year. I've got 2 more streams. Both of them are tomorrow, and they're both going to be short. And I think they might be subscriber-only streams for tomorrow, because our primary audience is going to be IRL. I'm going to be streaming live from here at the Anki site in Wyoming. But the stream is for the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So they're going to have a live audience there in the auditorium at the museum. I'm going to be speaking live with Matt Lamanna, who is the dinosaur curator there at the Carnegie. And yeah, we'll be having a conversation. I'll be showing everybody around the quarry. We'll be doing this twice because they have 2 different time slots there for this live event at the museum. And so I'm not going to be able to really communicate much with chat during this, so I figured we might as well make it a subscriber-only stream. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. But it's going to be a lot of fun. They've got their annual Dino Fest event kicking off tomorrow. And I'm honored to be able to participate. This is one of the things that they're advertising is like, you know, a live chat with paleontologists out in Wyoming digging up dinosaurs. I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to be neat. And yesterday we were testing a push-to-talk app so that I can actually hear Matt's voice and then respond to him via Twitch. It's going to be pretty neat. So, yeah. And Mods will be here to keep things going in chat. It'll be earlier, Claire. I'll text the details to Lordy, and then she'll put it in the mod Discord. But let me just tell you right now. We'll figure this out. They're both going to be earlier than usual, if memory serves. There we go. Going through this email chain. right, it'll be 12 to 1 p.m. Eastern and 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern. So 2 different 1-hour streams. 12 to 1 and 2 to 3 Eastern. So, you know, translate that into your native time zone. And we've got it. So that'll be my time 10 to 11 a.m. That's good for me to remember. And 12 to 1 p.m. Mountain Time. So yeah, that'll be cool. It might be subscribers only chat. I'm not sure I know how to do subscribers only like viewing. I think it'll be subscribers only chat for that. Just because I'm not going to really be able to respond to chat. I'm going to be listening to Matt's questions and, you know, having a conversation with him. So, yeah, I hope that makes sense. Oh boy, that wind. Ah. Kind of like a day off for the mods, says Claire. Kind of, yeah. Mods, you can tune in if you want to, but of course, as always, you're under no obligation. But yeah, and Illyspid says, will be still interesting experiencing questions. So that's the thing, is that you won't be able to hear the questions. I'll have Matt in my ear with a Bluetooth earbud, but I'll do my best to try and give context so that you can, I'll sort of like halfway repeat the questions so you know what he's asking. But you there, you know, sitting at home will not be able to hear what he's asking, unfortunately. So it goes. Again, our primary audience is going to be IRL there in person in the auditorium at the Carnegie Museum. Anywho, good stuff. 489 people watching, holy cow. Let's go back down to the quarry and take a poke around, take a look. See Ken use that pick. Ken likes the big pick. Ken's taller than I am, so I much prefer the smaller geopaleo picks, the blue ones. Here above the bone layer, we've got all this rock, this overburden we have to move. It's funny, I could feel that when Ken is prying. Yeah. So this is my tool of choice in a situation like this. I really like the blue Estwing geopaleo pick. Faded right there, but yeah, I've got like well over a decade's worth of experience using these. Lots of muscle memory. You put me on something like that and I kind of flounder a little bit. It's funny. Good stuff. Let me go back down there. Get a little bit of shelter from the wind. And yeah, aerospace, that's the trick, isn't it? Trying not to take a pick to the knee or any other body part for that matter. That'll end your field season right quick. Luckily, none of the crews that I've ever been on have suffered that kind of an injury. But there have definitely been people who've been hit in the head by flying rocks and stuff like that. It happens. You try and avoid that as best you can. Everybody, you know, pay attention to their surroundings. Shout out when they're going to throw something near somebody else. All that good stuff. Eric knows what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Good thing to do is shout rock.
I just shout, ah! Everybody will know what you mean.
Rock.
Rock. Where? Huh? I mean, there's rocks all over the place. Yeah. But yeah. Crazy to think that, like, beginning here, this was just, like, the top of that jacket was just barely exposed, or where the jacket is now. There are bones just kind of barely peeking out right there. All of this has been moved since then. Like, this pit did not exist a year and a month ago. Ooh, nice, Ken. That is heavier than it looks.
Excuse me.
Solid sandstone there. Thank you, Ken. Not throwing it on top of the Starlink.
Hey, I did not do that.
No, it's you. I'm complimenting you for not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good stuff. But yeah, like that's a lot of rock moved. Holy cow. So again, you see the slope down here. This just continued up.
Break time.
Yeah.
This one does not want to move, so.
She'll come out.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually.
Yeah, don't.
And Utopia Jay says that's why you don't need background music. Everything rocks. Ba-doom. Yeah. Oh, got some steel wool there?
It's like a shrub that was.
Huh. R.I.P. that shrub.
It was a real one.
Yep. Good stuff. Anywho. Flora kill. Yeah, there you go, Alexander. You know any good jokes, Aaron? Putting you on the spot. I'll come back in a bit. Suddenly things got quiet, like the wind died down. You know, taking a break from shoveling. I might do some shoveling too. You know, if I set the camera down, I think it'd be a good idea. Pour one out for the shrub homie. Yeah. Sometimes we do try to relocate some of these sagebrushes if we have to dig through the, where they are, but they don't. I've come back to a site afterward, and they usually don't. They don't survive that. Yeah. But they know what they signed up for when they chose to germinate out here. They knew what the risks were, so can't feel too bad for them.
Sticking their roots in the bones.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, serves them right. That's why we uproot them. Because they literally do that. Like, I've worked at sites before where, say we've got a Triceratops humerus, and just the entire surface is just coated with like a root mat, and the roots are like going into every crack in the bone, and they're trying to suck up every bit of mineral that they can. It's tough to make a living out here. But again, if they're going to grow over our dinosaurs, for the dinosaurs, which we have been permitted to excavate, then sorry, Monsieur Plant, you are not long for this world. Yeah. Anywho. And there you go, Charlie's Dragon, yeah. I love animals and plants. But yeah. And maybe other critters too. Protists, fungi, whatever. They're all fascinating. Yeah, I'll show you some of the other tools that we have here. Here is a big old pry bar. Or what is this? It is a pry bar. Look at that. 18-pound pry bar. Oof, the solid steel. That's the sort of thing. Whoop! Don't want that going through your leg. That's the sort of thing that we'll need for flipping that jacket. We're gonna get a huge team of people here to do that. So like, when that day comes, when we flip that jacket over onto the sled and bring it down the hill, we'll probably bring everybody from camp over. So that'll be 20 or 30 people all to help out with that, like they did for the other jacket. I think it was basically everybody from our crew except for me and Fisher who were there, because we were working Turtle Hill that day.
You're talking about for the flip or the carry down?
The carry down. Or no, maybe it was the flip?
The flip was everyone here and Sarah Thompson.
Yeah.
Anki didn't come.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. What about the carry down, though? Was that everybody?
That was everyone.
Everybody except me and Fisher that day. Yeah. We were Turtle Hilling it. Yeah. And Mayor Space says that's a make it go? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a serious piece of equipment right there. And then got this nice crowbar here too. Good stuff. There's something very satisfying about just a big metal piece of gear like this. You know, think of all the cool stuff you could get up with a tool like this. All the prying and jimmying that your heart desires. Ken knows what I'm talking about. Yeah. I had a crowbar at home. I used to keep in my car, and then somebody smashed the back window and stole the crowbar, which is almost a little ironic, you know? Yeah. That wasn't a fun day. We got some shovels. I do think it's kind of funny that we have a broom like this, but this can be used for, you know, for sweeping quickly, for trying to get dust off of a clean surface. Then we've got another Geo-Paleo pick here too. This one's less faded. You can see it. You can read it. Geo-Paleo pick from Estwing.
Paleontologizing, sponsored by Estwing.
Oh, I wish. One of these days. Whenever I dig dinosaurs, I reach for an Estwing Geo-Paleo pick. You know?
Over here, young Eric.
Ms. Blue Sky says, it is so funny to me when science has sudden moments of very straightforward, unprecise stuff, like, oh, that's the science stick, we use it to push big stuff real hard. That's like half of field paleontology. So I'm glad you enjoy that, Ms. Blue Skies, because that's what we're all about out here. Yeah. I don't know, I kind of get the impression that many people in the outside world think that science is all about, you know, ultra fine scale, precise equipment, very expensive, very high tech, high end, you know, precision stuff. Out here, you know, what are the things we have? Big old metal bar, you know, wood block. And over here, some of our fine fabric. Burlaw. That's good stuff. Feel how soft. Yeah, look at that fine weave. That's like finer than silk there. This is what we use to make these jackets. You know. I've said it enough where I kind of it no longer seems weird or funny to me. This is scientific equipment here, you know? We're doing science with it. Le Lap Albert, Abir. Also, hello everyone. Hello to you, Cacklinsworth. I probably butchered that pronunciation. I don't speak French or Dutch or Belgian French or French Dutch. I don't even know what the languages are. You know? But that's... No Breaks NBR. Hey, how are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Welcome to a live dinosaur dig out here in Wyoming. How was your stream? I hope it was really good. Thanks for bringing everybody over. I'm working with a small crew today out here in western Wyoming. We've got a horned dinosaur who's got a bunch of bones there in that jacket that we've built around it. Part of what we're hoping to get done today, once some other crew members arrive, is cut that thing down so we can hopefully get it lightweight enough to get it down the hill and out to the vehicle on the road. Probably need a flatbed trailer for that. Did Ethan say anything about a flatbed?
He was basically told that there's no way this is fitting in the back of a pickup, so
this is way too big for
he's
that.
planning on getting a flatbed.
Nice. Yeah, this is.
Also, not sure if Ethan's going to make it before end of broadcast or at all today.
He probably won't. Yeah, that's okay. It's 4 o'clock already. We've got another hour. But yeah, and thank you, No Breaks NBR. Thanks for being here. You take care of yourself. Thanks for rating in. Appreciate you. Yeah. And Derek, the marine biologist. What line of work are you in, Derek? Derek asks, do you work for a dig company or is this an independently funded project? The latter. Yeah, we are an independently funded project. And I think the vast majority, if not the entirety of our funding this year is from private sources. I don't think we have any federal grants or anything close to that, right?
I think he got some grants, but I just don't know.
Really?
Where all they're...
I don't know if it's be from private granting bodies. But anyway, the point is we're basically donor funded out here. And part of the funding for this fieldwork from this channel, from this community, from Twitch viewers like you. It doesn't take a tremendous amount of money to dig up a dinosaur or to do paleontological fieldwork like this. But it does take some. And we've been really lucky to be able to have that kind of funding for the past 4 years that I've been out here. And it seems to, I'm not going to say it's getting better every year, but we've been having larger and larger crews and digging up more and more fossils. Our enterprise continues to expand. Our group out here is the Central Laramidia Project. So we're trying to fill a gap in the rock record. We've got brand new dinosaurs. This is a blank spot on the map, essentially. We're trying to fill it in by finding new critters, studying this ancient environment, figuring out the animals and the plants that lived here. This is another cool chapter in the history of life on Earth, and we're helping to write it. I mixed so many metaphors there. Apologies. But yeah, we're writing a new chapter in this blank spot on the map of a missing puzzle piece of a grand puzzle pageant of life on Earth. You know, so many mixed metaphors. Yeah. We're waiting for you to throw it.
Oh.
Mighty fine throwing, Ken.
Thank you.
Mighty fine throwing. It might look like Ken is just messing around right now, and he is. No, he's not. We got to move these rocks out of here.
And I'd like to make sure that there's not some random thing we're not expecting in the sandstone.
So Ken is actually visually inspecting each of these rocks to make sure that there's not fossil bone in them before he chucks them over the hill. This is how we do it. He's kind of just above the bone layer, maybe getting almost down into it. So it's important to be able to check things.
I will hit the Starling.
If I continue to harass Ken, he's going to throw it right at the dish, and it's bye-bye stream. You're getting some compliments in the chat, by the way. Solid arm, good technique. Good noises, too. Freelancer asks, can we have his character chart at the end of this episode to see if his throwing skill leveled up? Is that a video game thing? It's gotta be.
It's like D&D.
Oh, is it?
Like
okay. Here you go, Golganek, yeah. Good stuff. Anyhow, if anyone's got any questions, don't hesitate to ask. This is, again, if you're just waltzing in, welcome to Paleontologizing. We're digging up a horned dinosaur out here in Wyoming, and I'm trying to show you what this work is really like in real life, you know? Live, unscripted, unedited. This is raw science here, as science streams would say. So yeah. And Jacob says, do you guys have a buggy for all the totes? There's plenty of bugs out here, yeah. They bite us sometimes. Or truck it relatively close. So it's about, I don't know how far that is to the road. So here's our quarry. There's the road down there. That's at least half a mile, mostly uphill. Part of it's flat down there, but it's, you know, walk uphill. So we got to carry everything up by hand. And man, first thing in the morning, sometimes that hike tires you out. I mean, half a mile uphill over really rough, uneven terrain at about 6,000 feet elevation. Here, I'm going to calculate out how many meters that is. Mm-hmm. 1,800 meters. Yeah. So we're at about 1,800 meters elevation, 1,800 meters above sea level. So the air is thin up here. And often when we get new people showing up, especially if they fly in, it's just such a sudden transition from like sea level, if people live on the coast, that often they get altitude sickness. So we tell them to really take it easy the first couple days when they come out here. But I've been working in the Intermountain West digging up dinosaurs since 2011, so yeah, I think generally my body does pretty well in adjusting. I do live at sea level back home in the San Francisco Bay Area, and sometimes it is a little daunting the first day when I arrive. But, you know, I get with the program, and I feel like I'm with the program now. Yeah. An 1800, yeah, rush wing, yeah. Yep. That, and it's not just high elevation, we're also up here in the high desert, you know? So it's also very, very dry. And you gotta make sure that you're drinking enough water, you're getting enough sleep, you're moisturizing sufficiently so your skin doesn't slough off, and your lips don't crack and blister and bleed. We've had that happen to a few crew members so far. You got to take care of yourself in a place like this. It's not a hospitable environment. And this is during the summer. I mean, shoot, during the winter, there'll be snow and ice all over the place. Might be, you know, negative 40 below zero. Yeah. And Nobarum says, the shore you at? Did you guys find any leaves? So we've got a ton from this site, but we've got some other sites that have much better preserved plant material that's actually worth collecting. Some of the stuff from here, you dig it up and it starts to fade immediately after you pull up a rock. You know, you peel it off, you look at the leaf, and that's beautiful, and within a few minutes it starts to fade, and just like that fine detail starts to disappear. At the other side, over at Turtle Hill, we've got beautiful plant material that's better preserved, and we have some paleobotanists working on that right now. We haven't found any flying animals so far. No pterosaurs and no birds, which is not surprising. Both the flying reptiles, the pterosaurs, and the birds, who are flying dinosaurs, they tend to have very thin, hollow, delicate bones. They're rarely preserved as fossils. Like, you gotta get really lucky. They were probably pretty common in this environment, but just not the sort of critter that... Their bones are so fragile that unless they are immediately buried under exceptional circumstances, you're never gonna get those bones fossilized. So, we haven't found any of them yet, but eventually we will. We'll get a bird piece, we'll get a piece of a pterosaur, it will happen, but those tend to be pretty rare creatures in the fossil record. And Ken, did your account get hacked? Do I wear wigs? No, this is all natural. What?
Have you not seen the Elijah Wood?
No, what?
I'll show it to you later.
Oh, okay.
It's, I can't remember the other actor's name, but Elijah Wood's getting an interview from one of the other hobbits, and he doesn't know it's him, and he just starts asking great questions.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I had referenced sword over my head. Over my unwigged head. And how did you find your elite mod, Claire? She found me, Care Bear Bonfire. Yeah. She showed up one day and stuck around and like, yeah, we should mod Claire. And the rest is history. So yeah. Ms. Blue Sky says Danny has such a unique combination of nerdy science knowledge, nerdy, and an absolute obliviousness of traditional geek stuff. I mean, because I'm not a nerd or a geek. I'm a science jock, you know? Definitely. Paleontology takes all different kinds of people, you know? You get your sports geeks, and your science jocks, and your, math goths, and your etc. Anyhow, yeah, and the philosophy theater kids. That actually might be some real overlap there, Clockwork Ninja, but yeah. And Alexander says you need a chin strap for that wind. No, I mean what I need is this is a new hat. So it's not really conforming to my head quite yet. The longer I wear it, the more form-fitting it will become, just like my previous hat. I had that one for 17 years, and I never needed a chin strap for it. This one, you know, it's still new. We're still breaking it in. But I don't know. One thing that I detest is chin straps on hats. You'll never see me with one. A hat should fit, even in a strong wind. You shouldn't need to, in my opinion, the kind of hats that I wear. Also, I've seen people get injured by chin straps on hats. I'm not about that. But yeah, anyhow. What I need to do is just get a bandana and put it around the inside and make it a little bit tighter around the hat band. And Birian says, did the old hat just wear out? It started to finally develop some cracks around the crown here. And, you know, I didn't want a catastrophic death for that hat, so I figured I'm just gonna put it up on the wall. It can live out the rest of its life in a place of honor in my office. So, there it is. But I got the same exact make and model. Unfortunately, they no longer manufacture them in the US, so the quality isn't as good, the leather is thinner. I don't know if this one's gonna last me 17 years like the other one did, but yeah. Anywho. LA2 Mech says, what do you believe took out the dinosaurs? Well, it's not really a matter of belief, it's science, you know? We can test ideas, figure it out. If you were to ask me that question, say, 30 years ago, I'd be like, well, you know, we're not really sure what took out the dinosaurs, but it seems likely that maybe it was volcanic eruptions, climate change, or a big asteroid. Nowadays, we pretty much know it was a big asteroid. We have a special command about that. There we go. Thank you, Claire. There's a general consensus that's forming that huge impact that happened 66 million years ago is what caused the extinction of the dinosaurs, except for birds. Nowadays, we know that birds are actually a kind of dinosaur. So strictly speaking, dinosaurs never went extinct. We still have thousands of dinosaur species around today. We just call them birds. But anywho, yeah, for a long time, say in the middle of the 20th century, nobody really knew or honestly cared all that much what took out the dinosaurs. People had a different view of dinosaurs back then. They thought that they were big, sluggish, slow animals, dim-witted, antisocial, not particularly noble creatures. But in the time since then, we've realized that, well, shoot, dinosaurs, in many cases, maybe most cases, were sophisticated, relatively intelligent for the time, dynamic, probably warm-blooded, often fast-moving, just supremely well-adapted animals. So it kind of became a shift from well, there are these big dumb critters and they went extinct and I guess it served them right because, well, they were never that great, to holy cow, these were incredibly dynamic, interesting, sophisticated, well-adapted creatures. What is it that wiped them off the face of the planet? So that kind of happened in the 1970s, 1980s. People started to realize that the extinction of the dinosaurs was an exceptional event. It wasn't an inevitability. Something weird and crazy happened to wipe out these animals. And then in the 1980s, the impact crater was discovered in the Gulf of Mexico, near Chicxulub, along the Yucatan Peninsula. And it became clear that there was a gigantic asteroid that hit the Earth at pretty much the exact moment that all the dinosaurs disappear, except for birds. And with more and more study, it seems like that time, the time frame just gets narrower and narrower. It's like the exact moment that all of the non-bird dinosaurs disappear. That's when the asteroid hit. That's not a coincidence. Yeah. So if you ask any geologist, any paleontologist about this nowadays, they'll tell you, yeah, it's probably the asteroid. It all lines up perfectly. And we know that an asteroid absolutely impacted at that time. There's a layer of iridium distributed throughout the Earth. It's very rare on the Earth's surface, but very common in space rocks. Smoking gun, oh shoot, something big from outer space hit at that point. Also, we have things like tektites, which is like liquid glass that rained down from the sky. We have tsunami deposits. When that asteroid hit, it kicked up tsunamis throughout that region that went maybe hundreds of miles onto dry land. Worldwide wildfires, deposit and ash that rained down from the sky. And then afterward, we see a recovery fauna and flora. So we have ferns that become super common after that impact. And ferns are usually the plants that bounce back first after a major disaster. After, say, a volcanic eruption or something just wipes everything out. Because ferns have spores rather than seeds in most cases. Those are floating around, and then they're the first thing to grow in that post-apocalyptic scenario. So anyway, it was an asteroid. TLDR. But yeah, an asteroid, yeah. About Mount Everest sized, about the size of San Francisco, this asteroid. It's called the Chicxulub Impactor, and it's named after the town of Chicxulub on the Yucatan Peninsula of Mexico. It's kind of near the epicenter of that crater. And anodyne quinine, I think dinosaurs, well, that's the thing, is that if you're around for long enough, eventually something will get you. And that's what happened to them, They were the dominant large vertebrate animals on land for 150 million years plus. Eventually, if they didn't extinct themselves, which they didn't, eventually our planet stuff happens on it, you know? We live on a dynamic planet. I don't think we as human beings will ever get to that point. Like, well, here's the thing. We will probably drive ourselves into extinction if current trends continue long before an asteroid has the chance to get us. Which is nuts to think about. We as human beings, we've got the creativity and the knowledge and sometimes the forethought to be able to do things like send a probe up into space and deflect an oncoming asteroid. We can do that kind of thing. That's incredible, you know? The dinosaurs couldn't do that. But I don't know, if we continue along our current path, we're going to drive ourselves into extinction through climate change. Dinosaurs were able to adapt to changing climates. We're changing the climate so fast that we might well wipe ourselves out. I say might. We can't let that happen, you know? We have a choice as human beings. We can understand what's going on, and we can work against it and prevent it. We need to do that. We're smarter than this, you know? Anyhow. And Castillo says, what do you say to those who say that we are in a normal climate cycle and it will warm either way? They don't know what they're talking about. You take it from a paleontologist, you know? The Earth's climate is always changing, but it happens way more slowly than what we're seeing now. Like, this is an instantaneous, like a finger snap in the geological record. In the past few hundred years, the climate has warmed tremendously. And we're currently on track to have like Cretaceous level temperatures in a couple centuries, maybe. And we know that this is from greenhouse gas emissions. By throwing all this pollution up in the atmosphere and warming it, we are causing global warming. So I don't know, to anybody who says this is part of the normal climate cycle, I would say maybe actually study the normal climate cycle, study the history of life on Earth, study the way that the climate has changed, and that'll really give you some perspective to realize that what is happening now is not natural, it is not normal. And don't take my word for it, ask any climate scientist. You know, anybody worth their salt who's not working for an oil company, they'll tell you the same thing. There's a tremendous amount of weaponized misinformation out there that's extremely well funded, you know? The fossil fuel industry has spent literally billions of dollars trying to misinform people. Tell them, oh no, our product isn't actually, you know, gonna cause the extinction of humanity and half the other species on the planet. No, just keep burning fossil fuels. Yeah, it's all fine, don't worry about it. Their very existence and profitability hinges on them being able to convince people that, you know, that what's happening is normal, don't worry about it at all. But the evidence is all around us, you know? And again, don't take my word for it. Ask any climate scientist, any geologist, any paleontologist, they'll tell you. Yeah. Anywho. Let me get some water. Put some more lip balm on.
Danny,
Yeah.
would you like to see our new god?
Okay. Oh. The obelisk.
We built it in honor of our true goddess.
You picked up the fertility goddess rock. Wow. She's a beauty. And she has a root vegetable or something. You found that this morning. Look at her. Wow. I don't know if I can show this on Twitch. This might be against TOS. Wow. My goodness. We are definitely having a little bit of desert madness here.
Oh yeah.
right, water time. That's a sign I need some water.
I think we all need to be drinking more water.
Getting loopy, Neverwinter. We've been loopy. To the 458 people watching, this is what science is like out in the field, if you can believe it. You know, lab work is all well and good, but, well, as you saw today, and I guess yesterday on stream too, we're not just a bunch of lab lubbers out here. No offense to lab lubbers, but, you know.
We're field workers, you know? Field dogs, as Ken said. I think we got a glimpse of that yesterday on stream with Luke.
The Ceratopsian. Oh no. Okay. What did Luke do?
It's just he was Luke, you know.
Just being Luke.
Just being Luke.
Not to a real one.
Yeah.
Nutsense is 100% correct. It is very nice to be able to do both field work and lab work, and that's what many of us do. The thing is, with paleontology, there would be no lab work without field work, and I think that's important to remember. You know, lab work is extraordinarily important, and not everybody wants to work in the field, not everybody can, not everybody enjoys that. That's fine, you know? But I do feel like sometimes there is there's a kind of feeling in the sciences that, oh, you know, the real work happens in the laboratory. This is just as real, if not more, than the lab work, you know? We get those specimens in the first place. This is how we get that geological context. This is how we figure out what's going on in the rock record. You can analyze things in the lab, and that's crucial to do. But where do you get the stuff to analyze? It's from the field, you know? Don't forget that. And Quentin says, this desert is your laboratory. Well, that and the actual laboratory, too. So, yeah.
But this is scientific work. Might look like Ken is on a chain gang right now, but he's doing important work for science.
Yeah. And Uto Geo, who is that? Uto Geo says lab rats versus field mice.
Yep. We're field mice out here.
What?
Lab rats versus field mice?
Welcome, Geo. It's good to have you here. I will be doing some streams from the lab probably at some point this year, but this is how I spend a good deal of my time every year, is out in the Badlands, out in the desert, digging up fossils, collecting data, and hanging out with cool people, living out in the wilderness. In just a couple hours, we're going to be heading back to camp and making dinner, hanging out around the campfire. We're going to do karaoke tonight, which I'm excited about. That is one of my contributions to this crew. Apart from the live streams, you know, the fact that I've got a solar battery, satellite dish, and I brought a projector and a laptop. Karaoke is one of our R&R practices out here. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. We've already done karaoke once so far this season. Doing that again tonight. But my point in saying this is that you're a field scientist, when you do field work, it becomes oftentimes a big part of your life. It becomes part of your identity. Not to be corny about it or anything, but it's a big part of who I am. I've been digging up dinosaurs since 2011, and I look forward to it every year. It's maybe March or April every year that I start to get what I call the field jitters, you know? I've usually been at home for a few months before that, but the days start getting longer, more and more daylight, things start to warm up, and I'm just itching to get back out into the desert. To get wind blown and sand blasted. I live for this, you know? It's a good way to be, and I'm grateful that I have the opportunity. Yeah. Oh, Jacob says favorite song to sing. I need to develop more songs for karaoke, but my go-to, which I've already done last karaoke night, last week, probably my go-to karaoke song is Major Tom by Peter Schilling. It's a fun one. I like that a lot. But, some other highlights of the evening. Let's see. Fisher and Ice did Mamma Mia by ABBA. Doug did Chappell Roan's Pink Pony Club. And if you know Doug, that was very funny. Highlight of the evening. Yeah. We had a few other songs that I can't necessarily divulge because they might not be appropriate for this audience. PG-rated science outreach, all ages, you know how it goes. Yeah. Song by Rammstein. I don't know that one, Crimson. No, it's a different one, Terry Toad. It's not A Space Oddity by Dave Bowie. Peter Schilling was so moved by that song that he wrote a sequel to it. So it is a sequel to the David Bowie song by a different artist. I think that sort of thing is not very common in the music world, but it's, I think, one of the better examples is Major Tom by Peter Schilling. And that's what I was told, Claire Burr. Somebody told me that that it was in Breaking Bad, and suddenly it doesn't feel special anymore. I've not seen that. I'm like, oh boy, do I have to find a new signature song now? I think I do. So, if anybody has any suggestions in the chat, yeah. And Waylon Jennings always makes good karaoke, says Gun Wizard. We have had some Waylon Jennings, I think. Yeah. I think that's... It's like a country and western artist, right? Do I remember that correctly? Kind of classic country and western? We do get a lot of that. Yeah. I was looking for a karaoke version of Phantom 309, because that's a fun song. It tells a story. But I can't find a karaoke version anywhere on YouTube, which is a disappointment. And yeah, Living on a Prayer, what is that, Bon Jovi, Go for Fluff or Not? That's always, it's a good option too. Yeah, we'll probably have that tonight. And I promised Matt LaManna that we'd do some Weezer in his honor for tonight's karaoke. And he'll probably be asking me about that on stream tomorrow. So I've got to make sure we do that. Last Stand and Ghost. Interesting, Crimson. I don't know that one. Yeah. You Give Love a Bad Name. That's a good one too. Bon Jovi is always like a safe bet for karaoke. His songs are funny because it's just... Sometimes, you know, it's good music, And I don't mean to disparage Bon Jovi, but sometimes it feels like just all of the lyrics they're just a list of cliches, you know? Turns of phrase, sayings that people say. Yeah. I've never heard of that, Claire. Warren Zevon? No. Oh, Life on Mars, that might be beyond my vocal capabilities. I tend to have a pretty deep voice, so I sing baritone usually. So there's a lot of stuff I just can't quite hit those high notes, and I'm not a skilled enough singer to be able to, I don't know, transpose it into baritone.
Chad needs to donate helium for next year.
There you go. Yeah, the helium tank for karaoke.
Oh boy. I have a bunch of people fainting.
Do you have a go-to karaoke song, Ken, that you want to share with the chat? Putting you on the spot.
There's a very brief window in between being not drunk enough and too drunk. So I don't do karaoke very often. Probably low places, but that's already been done this year. So I don't know if
we
I'm
did
gonna...
do that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
I mean,
Was that Riley?
yeah. And then, what's the one that Quinn did? Semi-Charmed Life. That's a good one.
Oh, did Quinn do that one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's right, yeah. Yeah, then there's other songs we can't quite, I don't know. The booty song might be,
Booty.
that might be like on the threshold of what I can't mention on here, but yeah. Yeah, well, there is a lot of Johnny Cash for sure. I did Johnny Cash's The Dinosaur Song, and it was okay. Yeah. Interesting. I don't know half of these songs, Chad. I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know. I got to come up with some additional songs. Last year we had some people who were very well versed in pop culture, and that kind of made things. Are we packing up?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm just, while they're working,
Yeah.
I'm just putting some stuff away to make it easy.
When Spencer was here, that kind of made karaoke a lot easier. Because Spencer knows a lot of songs, and we sang there was that mariachi song by Las Gaviotas from Jurassic Park. We sang that together.
Of course, it's from Jurassic Park.
Exactly, yeah. Everyone knows the song. But yeah. Anywho. And yeah, that is a nonsense. Every year at SVP, they play, during the dance party at the end, they play I Am a Paleontologist by They Might Be Giants. That's a little basic. We've got some people on the crew who'd be like, ah. But
Luke would spontaneously combust.
he probably would, yeah.
Nurse!
Yeah. And yeah, Los Lobos Hotel Cafe. That's a good one too. Yeah. I don't know. There's usually a lot of ABBA. I'll probably do some of that tonight with Fisher. That'll be fun. But anyway, if anyone's just joining us, welcome to Paleontologizing. We're here digging up a horned dinosaur, trying to survive the wind out here in Wyoming. Doing a decent job of it so far. But yeah, I have to move a tremendous amount of rock to be able to get this thing out. We think the skeleton is continuing in that direction, hence overburden. We're working those layers down. You get the picture. I've said this how many times on today's stream? Yeah. Anywho. Oh yeah, and it could get, Winner Takes It All is really good. I really like Money, Money, Money. By ABBA. There's a few others. All of ABBA Gold is exactly what the album title would imply. That stuff is gold. So. Oh, let me check on my solar panels and make sure they're still standing. All this wind.
Yeah, looking good. Okay, nice.
Happy about that. Yeah, there was a lot of Sweet Caroline last year. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Yeah. Well, we've got about 20 minutes left in the stream, give or take. A little bit more. Let me know if you've got any other questions. Again, we've got how many people watching? 441. Give me some more paleontology questions. If you're wondering any of the details about what we're doing out here, how we conduct field work, why this stuff is important, any of that, don't hesitate, you know? And uranium fever, there you go, Crimson, yeah. There was, shoot, what's the name of that song? Better stay away from something something road. It's not Cottonmouth Road. What's the song called? Gosh darn it. But, you know, we changed that to Yellow Cat Road because the Yellow Cat Mining District was an old uranium mining district. That's near where we do field work. But, yeah. Cottonmouth Road is right? Okay, nice. No, Copperhead Road. Thank you, Captain Budmaniac. Different kind of venomous snake. Copperhead Road, yeah. We changed it to Yellow Cat Road because it's the road we take to get there. And TK Pow with a great question. Are fossils ever found in higher elevations where there would be shade? We are at very high elevation right now. We're at about 6,000 feet, about 1,800 meters. This is the high desert up here. It's so high and so dry that there's no trees. There's no trees. You see any trees? I don't see any trees. No trees. My old crew chief, Denver Fowler, whom we're going to be going to see and spend time with next week, he had a favorite saying back when I did field work with him. We'd sit down after like working in the hot sun, and he'd go, dinosaurs never die in the shade. And he's right. Generally, where we're excavating dinosaurs or any other kind of fossil critter like this, there's no shade to be found. Luckily, it's not hot today. It's just really windy. But yeah, gotta make sure you put your sunscreen on. Lots and lots of sun. And Kenneth the Ace says he's the best. Everybody's gonna get to know Denver pretty well, I hope. Because I'm going to go do field work with him for a couple weeks up in Monday. So I think our first stream will probably be Tuesday. So it's gonna be real good. What's the best kind of rock to work with? The soft kind, Rushwing. I've actually dug fossils in really, really soft sandstone where like you can work it away with your fingers. It's like beach sand. The softer the better, especially if the bone is well preserved. That's really nice. There have been a few sites I worked in the Hell Creek that were like that. We'll see if we get any like that up in the Judith River Formation in Montana next week. You'll have to tune in and see. And we had a question about what kind of critters. Oh, and shoot, you have a karaoke version of Phantom 309, Lara Gale? Post it in the chat, and I'll save it. Holy cow, yeah, Lara Gale, is it on YouTube? I couldn't find that. That'd be great. What was I saying? Oh, what kind of critters do we have around here? Well, just today, when we were dropping Fisher off at the Turtle Hill site, we saw 2 baby pronghorn just jump out of the bushes right in front of him. So we get pronghorn antelope. They're not actually antelope, they're Antilocaprids. But pronghorn out here. We saw a bunch of wild horses this morning. I saw a big old bird of prey, an acipterid. I don't know what it was, but it had white bands on its wings. It was like almost as big as a golden eagle. kind of a dull grayish brown, flying low over the scrub. And of course we get lizards, we get lots of rodents, all kinds of different insects. There's all kinds of cool critters out here. This might seem like a pretty desolate environment, and it is. So it takes a tough breed of animals to survive in this environment. Yeah. Oh, and there it is. Holy cow, from Carafun. Oh, I don't know if I'll be able to use this. Shoot. Because I don't have the app for that. But I will save the link nonetheless. Gosh darn. Gah. Yeah. You can download the song from the site. I'll see if I can do that, Lara Gale. Thank you, thank you. Yeah. Wow. Oh my god, we're probably getting like 40, 50 mile an hour gusts right now. This is less than pleasant. But so it goes. Anywho, any other questions about field paleontology? Again, this is the last of our full-length streams. The last time I'm really going to be interacting with chat here in Wyoming. Tomorrow, our 2 live streams, 2 short 1-hour live streams, are going to be with the Carnegie Museum, where I'm going to be talking with Matt LaManna, and I won't be able to really pay attention much to chat, unfortunately. I basically will have chat up just to be able to tell that we're still streaming, but actually Matt can tell me that in person, auditorially, but yeah. And Claire says, unless you want to explain prospecting again, I could do that. I could do that. Oh, but Elwha links, yeah. Pronghorn are so cool. They're such neat animals. Unique in North America. Like, there's nothing else like them in the world. There used to be a whole family of Antilocaprids. Now the pronghorn is the last one left, and it is very special. People around this part of the world, like this part of their range, Wyoming, Montana, they've got funny names for pronghorn because they're not deer and they're not antelope, even though people call them antelope. But I've heard folks call them speed goats because they're very fast. They're the fastest terrestrial mammal in North America. And they're kind of related to goats. They're closer to goats than they are to antelope, I think. Or certainly to deer. But yeah, speed goats. I've also heard them called a sausage on stilts because they just have this cylindrical body and these long stilty legs. They're kind of funny like that, but they're fast and they're terrible at jumping. And Clouded Bee says, how do you mitigate damage to the natural biodiversity? I will resist the urge to make a joke and go, what biodiversity? There's not a whole lot of species that can survive in this environment. So we get some sagebrush, we get some bunch grasses, we get some beetles and some lizards. But what we're doing here, we're just digging a big hole. We're not dumping chemicals. We're not, strip mining or anything. We're not polluting. We're just digging a big hole. So basically what we're doing here is, it's like natural erosion, just on a shorter time scale. We do work with the Bureau of Land Management. We have our permits through them. So we solemnly swear that we are being the best stewards that we can be of this natural environment. And we try and leave sites cleaner than when we found them, if you can believe it. So if we find trash and stuff like that, we'll do our very best to get it out of here. And of course we clean up after ourselves very well. But we're just digging a big hole, This is not a high impact thing. We're not really altering the landscape very much except digging a hole. No, hope that makes sense. The plaster that we have down there is just gypsum based. That's not going to hurt anything. That's a natural material. If we have strips of burlap, you know, if any of those like little strings from the burlap blow away in the wind, that is certainly not a big deal. It's another natural material. Yeah. Hope that makes sense. And Ella Rain, thank you Charlie's Dragon for reposting that comment. What's the timeline between finding something and any type of publication? Years. Yeah. So this site was originally discovered in 2024. I think it was Logan who found this. He found some bone scraps falling down the hill there and followed them up and found this. There was just the tiniest bit of bone sticking up out of the surface. And then the following year, we came back with an excavation permit. This was last year. And we started to dig a big hole and found more and more and more bones. And now fast forward to 2026, the present day. We're back, we're continuing to dig. We're making our way into the hill. So you see that Eric has got another bone right there that's capped by a plaster jacket.
We have some charcoal.
We have some charcoal too, nice, yeah. The point is, it takes years just to dig something like this up. And then afterward, once we have these jackets safely back to the laboratory, we'll open them up, clean them, you know, chip away the rock, put glue on the bones, make sure that it doesn't fall apart, and get it ready for study. And then studying something like this can take years. We'll have to compare it to other kinds of ceratopsid dinosaur in order to demonstrate that this is different and figure out who it's related to and all of that. We might have to correspond with other paleontologists across the country or around the world, maybe ask them to become co-authors. You have to photograph all of the bones, maybe illustrate them, maybe scan them, and then after that you write up the manuscript. So we describe this animal. You talk about all of the intricate details of the osteology, these different bones, how they compare to other ceratopsid dinosaurs, what makes them similar or different. Just making sense of this animal, writing a technical description. And then once you have that manuscript done, you start sending it out to journals. So in order to get something published in the scientific literature, you have to submit it to scientific journals. And they'll look it over, they'll send it through peer review. It'll be accepted or rejected. More often it'll be accepted with revisions. So they say, well, clarify this part, you know, go and study this thing, you may have overlooked that. Are you sure about this? Just the review process itself takes months or sometimes years. So it can be a decade in between when a dinosaur like this is first discovered and then when it finally gets published. It could be multiple decades. This critter we're gonna put on the fast track. We know this is really important. We're very interested in it. We're very excited about it. So this is the top of our priority list. But sometimes a fossil jacket gets brought back to the laboratory and it'll sit in storage for years or decades before it gets opened up. There's lots of stories of this happening. Thescelosaurus is a good example of this. Little beaky plant-eating dinosaur from the Hell Creek Formation. The name Thescelosaurus neglectus means the marvelous but neglected lizard, because when that critter was first excavated, he was put into storage. And I think it was decades before anybody opened up the box and opened up the jacket and realized how special it was. So yeah, I think it was a few decades in between initial discovery and then eventual publication. So yeah, does that make sense? It can take a long time. But we're gonna try and do this in just a few years, if that makes sense. And you're welcome, Clouded Bee. Thanks for your question. And Clouded Bee says, has streaming or recording the process helped out too? I'm guessing it's not the norm to film digs? No, it is not the norm. In fact, I am, as far as I know, the only paleontologist in the world who does live streaming full time. Other crews will occasionally try and do live streams And it's cool to do that, It's a great way to build public enthusiasm and show people how this stuff really works. This is science outreach. This is education here, what I'm trying to do. I don't think any other crews anywhere are doing this on a regular basis. Usually it's like a special event. But I do this every day I can in the field. And this is literally how I make my living. So yeah, this is not typical. I want to make that clear. You are right to say that. And it's a lot of work to set up streams like this and set aside 3 hours out of every day doing a live broadcast, setting up all the equipment and making sure everything is running smoothly. There's a lot that goes into this. There's a lot of moving parts. But it's worth it to me. It's more than worth it. I literally make my living doing this. This is how I pay the bills. And this is what allows me to travel and conduct field work and do science, go to conferences, publish papers. None of that would be possible for me without these streams, What's more, we've been able to raise a good amount of money for this crew this year. Members of this community have donated over $3,600 to be able to feed and transport our crew. We're renting a second truck so that Logan can drive all over hither and yon and find a whole bunch of new sites for us to dig. He found this one here. He's going to find some more that might even be more exciting than this. We're still looking for really good big theropod material from this formation. We want a tyrannosaur, We know they're here. We found their teeth. We know with absolute certainty that there were tyrannosaurs that lived in this environment. It would be shocking if that were not the case. It is the case. They lived here. We know it. We need to find a good skeleton. Logan might do that this year, and he might do that thanks to the funding that we raised. And I'm really proud of that, and you should be proud of that too, chat. There you go, Nutsense, yeah. Did the Tyrannosaur pop up during that follower? That's awesome, Pate B. Good stuff. So yeah, again, what a privilege to be able to do this kind of thing. It's really something. And it feels weird for me to be leaving so soon. Today's Friday. I have the 2 mini streams tomorrow for the Carnegie Museum. And then Saturday morning, I'm taking off. I'm packing up my tent and all my gear, put it in the car, and driving up to Montana. I'm going to be meeting up with Denver and Liz Friedman-Fowler, Doctors Denver and Liz Friedman-Fowler of the Badlands Dinosaur Museum in Dickinson, North Dakota. They go out to northern Montana every year, and they've got a whole bunch of dinosaur sites up there. Maybe some more new species, and we'll see. But I used to work with them back in Montana. That's where I went to school. About a decade ago now at this point. More than a decade ago. Oof. It's gonna, hang on. It's been 2017 was the last fieldwork I did with them. So nearly a decade. 9 years. It's gonna be good to hang out with them again and catch up. See what they've built their program into. I was there during their first summer of fieldwork with their museum. And it was pretty limited back then. Now they have one of the largest field programs in the United States, one of the largest in the world, and they're very proud of that. They've built it up from the ground up. It's going to be cool to introduce you to all of them and kind of see how another crew does things. I'm hoping it's going to be just like old times. I've had some tremendous experiences with Denver and Liz before out in the field. Really looking forward to seeing them again and working up in the Judith River Formation. I'm excited to bring you along. And I have worked sort of nearby Crimson, but not quite near that particular town. But I've worked in that same geological formation, the Judith River. Done a few summers up there. So that's not going to be new to me. But there'll be a lot of new people on the crew. And I think they've got people flying in from all over the world. People flying in from Europe and the Mediterranean. I think there might be some people, well, I'm not sure where else. End of list. But yeah, there were a lot of Greek names on the crew roster. We might have some people flying in from Greece, which would be really neat. So yeah. And the teeth look close to any known tyrannosaurs. They all kind of have very similar teeth. I don't know. Tyrannosaurs have a lot of variation in their jaw between different, and that variation can be confusing because it might look like species differences when it's not. So anyway, tyrannosaur teeth are all kind of similar across different species in genera. I don't know if you can identify down to the species level just based on teeth. But yeah, Judith River is going to be very cool. Anywho. With that being said, I think it's time to wrap up today's stream. Unless anybody's got any last minute questions, we'll go find somebody else to raid into, somebody doing some science. And we'll wrap this up. And subscribers only Dino Fest streams tomorrow? Yeah, Brain of Purple. It's gonna be good. I'm not gonna be very attentive to the chat tomorrow because I'm gonna be talking over the phone basically with Matt LaManna. I'm doing a special stream with the Carnegie Museum of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. They're gonna be putting me up on the big screen in their auditorium, and I'll be answering questions from the audience and just kind of walking them through the site tomorrow. And so I'm not going to be able to look at chat very much. So we might make it subscribers only chat as a result. Just for tomorrow's streams. There's 2 of them, each an hour long, to fit into their schedule there in Pittsburgh. But it's going to be a lot of fun, and feel free to please tune in and check it out. If you'd like to subscribe, you certainly can if you want to chat, but I probably won't read your messages on stream because I'm going to be very busy with other stuff during tomorrow's streams. Anyhow, I'm looking forward to that, and I've got some stuff I got to get ready. Got some gear to charge up, some visual aids to repair, stuff like that, so got my work cut out for me. Anywho. And holy moly, Brain of Purple, what is this? 50 subscriptions, holy cow. Brain of Purple, that is nuts. Thank you so much, I really appreciate it. Thank you for supporting science outreach here on Twitch. I could not do this without the support of good folks like you. Thank you very, very much for that. You're helping me pay the bills out here, making it possible for me to do these streams. I always take kind of a hit to my income whenever I do work from the field. You know, people don't gift or subscribe as much when I'm out here. You're helping fill that gap, helping make up that difference, and I really appreciate it, Brain of Purple. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Holy cow. And to the 50 people who just got a gift sub, I won't have to watch any ads on this channel for the next 30 days. They're going to be quite grateful too. They'll have an uninterrupted Montana fieldwork streams viewing experience. Really appreciate that, Brain of Purple. Thank you very much for your generosity. That means a lot. What? Holy cow! Reaganation 20 gift subs there. Nuts. A few more Reaganation. Thank you for that. My goodness. I really appreciate that. I really, really do. 20 more viewers won't have to watch any ads for the next month. I appreciate that. And holy cow, Mark 20 more? Shoot. Oh my goodness. Nuts. That is bonkers. Gotta keep you alive. You're doing a good job of it, Mark. Thank you for that. Cow. I don't know what to say. He started early, sing a song. Oh man, I'd embarrass myself without any music. But thank you for that. I am incredibly grateful. Yeah. Karaoke in the field. Yeah, Petrodactylus. We're doing that tonight. I got my karaoke machine. Got the microphones. Got the projector. Got the laptop. Got the satellite dish for internet. We do YouTube karaoke. So like, you know, basically most karaoke songs that are available anywhere are available on YouTube. You can find it there. So yeah, that's what we used. A campfire song for SpongeBob. There you go, Crimson. We could do that. I used to be able to play that on the ukulele, I think. It goes faster and faster, right? The campfire song. And yeah, Petra. By the way, Petrodactylus, shout out to you for helping raise money for our fieldwork out here. This dinosaur that we're excavating, this ceratopsian here. Did I tell you about this, Petra? Do you know about this? How you doing, Ken?
Hello. McLeod.
Yeah. I'm gonna wrap up the stream pretty soon, but we just got a ton of gift subs, so keeping it going for a little while. But yeah, this what we thought last week was a duckbill dinosaur, what we thought for the past year was a duckbill dinosaur, has turned out to be a ceratopsid, a horned dinosaur, much like Triceratops. We're extremely excited about that, and you helped contribute to this endeavor, Petra, so thank you very, very much for that. Thank you to everybody in the chat who's gifted subscriptions over the past few minutes. Really appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you, Golganak, for gifting Crimson. Excellent. And I think I saw another one, too. Reaganation, thank you for that gift sub. Tiberian, superb. Yeah. Excellent. My heart is full. I don't know. It's what a fitting conclusion to our last full stream from Wyoming this year. I'm looking forward to going back to camp, telling the other guys and gals we had a really good stream today. And a lot of support. I say it all the time, but it's thank you again, Reaganation, for the gift sub to Gojira. Star Wolf says, is this the last day? Sort of. Our last full stream. I've got 2 little ones tomorrow, Saturday. And then Sunday morning, I'm going up to Montana. So hopefully I'll be streaming from there on Tuesday, and then for about a week and a half after that. So, and then we'll be streaming later on in the summer from Utah, and then maybe again from Utah. And then slight chance I'll be streaming from Nevada later on in the fall. And we'll see where Andrew Milner invites me out to as well. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, you will see Papa Jim out there, Birian, with his suspenders. That's going to be great. Yeah. And Epic Fieldwork has supported the channel on Ko-Fi. Really, really? Thank you, Epic Fieldwork. Holy moly. Do I appreciate that? I don't think I have a way to check that at the moment. But whatever it was, I'm deeply grateful. Thank you very much for this. Really appreciate it. What kind of dinosaur? It would be ichthyosaurs in Nevada, Crimson, from the Triassic. But we'll see. Anywho. With that said, we're gonna wrap this up. Tune in again tomorrow. We've got 2 short streams tomorrow. And then I've got some traveling. And then hopefully Tuesday, I'll be streaming from Montana. Can't wait. It's gonna be great. But until then, everybody, let's go find somebody to raid into. Don't go away just yet. Let's see who else is doing some science currently, whom we might be able to support here. Let's see. You know what? Draw Curiosity is on her partner push. Let's go say hello to Dr. Inés and help her with that partner push. There's no space or underscore there, right? Yeah. Excellent. Well, we're gonna go right into a fellow scientist and see what she's up to on her partner push. But everybody, you have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is, where you're at right now. And feel free to tune in tomorrow for our special, not super chat focused streams with the Carnegie Museum. Really excited about that. And yeah, then after that, next morning, heading up to Montana. Take care, everybody. And thank you for everything. All those gift subs, your viewership, your enthusiasm, your questions, mods, all of your mod work. I appreciate it more than I can say. It's the reason I can do this, is because of the wonderful support from this community, and I am deeply grateful. Wish us luck with this continued excavation. And I'll see you very soon. All right, take care, everybody. Bye-bye.